a lot of issues isolating my biceps. I can't do mind muscle connection, and how do I isolate my biceps better?
Free test is high. That's the main point, though. That you want that free testosterone high.
From Shaq Fu. Shaq Fu, sitting for many hours gives me lower back pain, which holds back my deadlift training. How can I undo the damage of sitting and relieve that pain?
Change up your seat. Use one of those yoga balls, or I don't know what the seat's called, where you're on your shins and it's more like this. Yeah, my dad did that. These chairs came out years ago, but it's more of a lean forward kind of a chair. You're not nothing against your back, and you're just basically holding yourself up. Yeah, I just change up that yoga ball too, and get up and move. Do one of those new desks where you stand. Chiropractic and everything else. I would agree with you. So he's asking me about the Mike Mentzer principles of training. There's a lot of great stuff in that. I think there's a lot of great stuff in that. I think there's a lot of science. There's two things. One is it already shows that going to fatigue doesn't do anything for you, and it just puts you at risk. So that's obviously out. And they didn't have enough studying back then at that point. Now, with that being said, I think a true champion, and I'm just talking, now this is just like the 001% of you guys out there that want to push themselves to be the greatest in the world. You have to push yourself to fatigue, even though maybe it's not beneficial to build more muscle or anything. It is essential for you to push your mindset to that level and know what that kind of pain is like, because you're going to have to get to that level in other aspects of your training to be the greatest in the world. So in textbook, no, training until you're fatigued doesn't help. In life, training until fatigue helps you. How crazy is that? And the problem with that is you're only going to get that information by people that actually became the greatest in the world and talk about how they trained when they were younger. And when somebody asks somebody like, and I see this now, which is interesting because I want to talk to these guys. I'm going to talk to Dorian Yates about this because Dorian's a big opponent that says you don't have to train that, you know, 6, 8, 10 to the most. You don't need to go to fatigue. But he trained with Mike Mentzer, Aaron Baker, all these guys, Casey Viator. And they trained like monsters in Golds. And I was there with Mike Mentzer in the late 80s, early 90s. And so I saw him training these guys. And I still talk to Aaron Baker about those kind of training sessions. They would do a very similar thing to me, is where they would warm up until they got to whatever that extreme weight is. And then that one set is balls out, balls deep, as many reps as you can with the heaviest weight you possibly can move. And then that was the set. And then you move on to the next thing. So I loved his principles. He'd be the closest thing to me, besides the creator of Nautilus, to my beliefs on how I train. Yeah, I loved it. I just wished there was an understanding and a change at some point, because all those people I was talking about got injured, and they also were out of shape by the time they hit their 40s, which is so freaking young. And they couldn't maintain much more than that, except for the ones that grew and understood they have to change that training a little bit more. So that was really cool to see. And we just didn't get Mike Mentzer long enough to see him grow and teach more and more. But one of the most, I guess you would say, one of the hardest people to talk to, because he was so beyond intelligent when it came to engineering and training and nutrition and just the body itself. Go for it. What do we got?
Octoman, again. I have a lot of issues isolating my biceps. I can't do mind muscle connection, and how do I isolate my biceps better?
So I got a machine that I put stims on. You guys all know about those kind of stim machines. I got a great one. And so you put that on, and that's going to open up the circuit for your body, so you can kind of bypass yourself, and it's going to stimulate that connection. So I would just pick up one of those and use that in the meantime. So, but for anybody else, what he says here is the beginning. He says he can't do mind to muscle connection. So I'm assuming he has nerve damage. I can't think of any other reason you wouldn't have mind to muscle connection. So there might be something like his back is so hurting. Do you mind letting me know if you have any kind of tingling down into your fingertips or down into your toes, anything like that? Everybody here, you guys do realize that mind to muscle connection is number one, right? And it can happen before you go to the gym just by you posing. Ooh, someone got their blood work? Go for it. Big Scotty.
I received my blood work back and my free test was high. I'm keeping my nutrition plan the same, even in the time of profound loss. I remember what you said about maintaining your nutrition plan no matter what the circumstances. Thank you, Mike.
I love it, Big Scotty. Scotty's my age, and your free test is high. That's the main point, though. That you want that free testosterone high. I work with a guy, and his testosterone is 1,000. I think it was 1,100, which is beyond off the chart. But then his free testosterone was below the mid range. So even though his testosterone, he had so much, nothing was being used. Compared to this situation where maybe you don't have all of it, but your free testosterone's working at 100%. So that's a great thing. It also shows that your body's utilizing everything that you got. So you don't have mind to muscle connection on his bicep, right? And you're saying your forearm does all the work. Okay, so that's just, you're just going through the motions. You're not connected. Yeah, so unfortunately with that is like, you should be able to just sit here and flex and go, okay, there's bicep. It should be that easy. And then you pick up the weight and your biceps doing the work. And if it's not like that, your forearms shouldn't be doing the work. Your forearms shouldn't be doing the work when you're doing back day. So that's just unfortunately, you may not be, but if there is other muscles working, then you're just being lazy on focusing on the muscle that should be working. And I hope you guys understand that. Chest tips. Don't do bench press. Just stay with the inclines. Go to a couple secondary exercises. Stretch the fascia. And that's your chest workout.